Go for it. And what a pleasure to meet you, Armin. So thank you for being here with us. We are ever grateful. And from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for your
You're
support of us. So thank you.
you're very welcome, and thanks so much for having me. It's an honor.
Let's talk about you and talk about Bodalgo and how Bodalgo started. So you started as a voice actor.
Yes. So let's rewind to 2004. So that's a long story, kids
Yeah.
out there. Like grandpa is telling you about the war. No, it's 2004, and a colleague of mine, we used to work in publishing back then, and a colleague of mine came to me and said, Armin, we desperately need a new voiceover for the latest FHM commercial. FHM was a man's magazine back then. And I said, well, you're complimenting me on my voice all the time. Why not let's try my voice. You have nothing to lose. If it doesn't work, you just grab a voiceover talent. So I went to the studio. The director immediately recognized, well, he's not a professional, like I'm not a professional talent. But after the second or third read, he said, well, if you just follow my direction, actually, I think this is gonna work. So we did another few takes, and it was done. And the only thing I had to say was, FHM, Männer sind so. That's all I said. So now that I had my first spot, I wrote to all the agents in Germany. I was totally naive. I wrote to all of them, like, here is my demo. Well, here's this one spot where I had a 5-second piece. And can you imagine? None of them even bothered to write back.
Oh, how
Bastards. Now, of course, so, and then I went online and I looked for opportunities to find voiceover jobs. I was completely naive. So I found a website that had an online casting, a pay-to-play website, so to speak. And I thought, well, okay, this website, it's from North America, not too many German jobs. There must be a website that does that in Germany as well. And I researched that, and there was none. I was sitting there with a couple of friends, and I had a few beers. And why is nobody doing this? It's really, you know what? I have to do it myself. So I stood up, I went out of the beer tent, went home, and coded the first lines of Bodalgo. And then three months later, in Jan 2008, the first version of Bodalgo was ready, and it went live. This is how Bodalgo started.
So fantastic. From a meager couple of lines that you did, you naive, wondrous little firefly, you created a huge organization. That's spectacular. You see, miracles can happen if you apply yourself. And what is it that Bodalgo offers? Like, what literally, explain to all of our fantastic miracles out there that are trying to grow in this industry.
Bodalgo is an online casting website for voiceover talents. And that means a client, let's say, has done a new commercial, and they're looking for a great voice to voice over that commercial. So they come to Bodalgo, they post a casting where they describe, okay, this is what we are looking for, this is what the spot is about, and we are looking for this and that kind of voice. And the matching voices can then audition for that job. The client then sees all the auditions. Once they have selected their perfect voice, so they make a shortlist, then decides on the voice, they go back to the talent and write a message and say, congratulations, you just won the job. What differentiates Bodalgo from so many other platforms is the fact that we do not prohibit direct talent-client contact. So if the client wants you, then they write an email, it goes through Bodalgo, but only the very first one. Talent gets a mail, client XYZ wants to book you for the job, and then whatever the client wrote. And from that point on, all the exchange is going directly. They don't need Bodalgo anymore. And of course, the payment is going directly. Like we don't do escrow fees and managed service fees. It's just the premium membership fee that is paid by the talent, and that's it. That's all.
You spend a lot of time, scouting and hunting for productions that need to place to find talent. So that's your basic day is
that is the absolute major task to attract new clients, to show them Bodalgo and how great Bodalgo is and how much easier it is to find talents over Bodalgo rather than like trying to find them themselves.
Do you find that you do have a family of companies that remain with you and don't
Oh, absolutely. There are companies that post like 400, 500 jobs. So no, there is definitely the ones that use Bodalgo use it regularly, like especially production houses, but because they need all sorts of voices all the time. Now, if they are looking for a specific voice, let's say corporate narration for a client, and then they have another for the same client, another corporate narration, they will probably not post a casting, but go to the talent that won the job in the first place. But they need voices all the time, so they keep coming back because it's so easy. But what I want to say, to add to the fact that the client-talent relationship is not like hindered by Bodalgo in any way, this also means a great responsibility on the talent, because if you get a job through Bodalgo, it's not only you won a gig, you won a client, and you need to understand that because you want to make this client a returning client, and that is your responsibility as a talent. I always thought that the talents need to be vetted. So I can't accept amateurs, because what will happen if, let's say, Coca-Cola comes down the road posting a casting, and 50% or 70% of the auditions they get are all, let's say, subpar.
Yeah.
So they will never ever come back and think, what kind of kindergarten is this? I thought this is a professional website. So today there's like 12,000 talents worldwide on Bodalgo. When you compare that, because it sounds a lot, but compare that to voices.com, which I think claim to have over 200,000, could be 500,000 meanwhile. I don't know, but it's a few 100,000 voice over talents. If you have a microphone and a credit card, then you're good to go, and perhaps your uncle. But I didn't believe in that, and the same goes for the clients. If a client posts a job and the budget is below some standards, he can't post it for the time being until the time they get their stuff together and enhance the budget to a level that is sane. If you are a match of Bodalgo, you are able to audition, and there is no cap. Like, if you're not within the first 50, you don't have a chance. Right. It's not how Bodalgo works. It can be that if there is a really big job, lots of money involved, that there are 300, 350, 400 people auditioning for this one job. I think the other websites have like a cap. So yes, it can be very challenging, and it's very competitive. People say, why don't you make like a limit? And I say, well, you can't have it both. You can't say on the one hand, I want to audition for all the jobs I'm matching, but also I want a cap on the numbers of people that can audition. You can't have both. And I thought it's better to let the talents decide whether they think, yeah, okay, there are 300 auditions. I still know I make an impact here. If you're a client, you see all the auditions, and they can listen to the audition, but they cannot see the offer, like the price tag of the audition, unless they listen to it. And this immediately boosted the numbers back to 85, 86%. So, well, the clients have no choice. If they want to know what the price is, they have to listen to the audition. When you do an audition with Bodalgo, you do not slate. No, you don't tell them your name, because your name is written right next to the audition, so the client knows your name. What you do is you start right with the script. From first syllable, 100% there. This is how you start an audition with Bodalgo. No other way. There's only one exception. If the client says in the description, he wants you to slate your name, whatever. If there's nothing like that, you do not slate, you do not have a music bed, you start in the first millisecond as soon as I hit the play button. Very, very, very important. There's this myth that if you're not under the first 10, that your chances would drop. What people fail to recognize is the clients on Bodalgo will see the list of auditions with the last ones that came in on top of the list.
Wow.
So if you are the very last person that auditioned, you have the number one spot. Because I don't want to have clients that repeatedly come back to the website to have to scroll down all the time to see the new casting auditions. I want the new auditions on the top so they don't have to scroll down.
What kind of costs do talent look at when they're subscribing to your service? Do you have tier systems? What do you have?
No, I don't believe in tiers. No, a tier system is only good for the one that installs it.
Yeah.
Everybody else loses with a system like that. So No, there are no tiers, but you have different plans in like monthly, half yearly, yearly.
You did say that you like to vet the talent. So for those that, especially the ones that are a little bit newer and don't have proper
Yeah.
setups, what kind of things
Yes.
are you vetting them for when they're signing up to your site?
Yeah. There's two things. The first is the technical quality. And I'm German, I'm allowed to say that. I'm a quality Nazi. So if your recording has background hiss, room reverberation, like room ambience or ambience, whatever you call it, I immediately delete the profile. It needs to be broadcast quality recording. This is number one. If you start with a 30-second music bed, your profile gets deleted. Nobody wants to listen to something like that. So if you jump over this hurdle, then it's of course your abilities with your voice. So two things. First, your technical quality must be broadcasting quality. And second, I need to hear that you know what you do.
It's very important that you guys are ready with your quality and then your acting performance. So it takes time to get good enough to be booking these jobs. And it's pointless for someone
Absolutely.
who's not skilled enough because they're not going to book. They're going against
No.
really good, great talent on your site.
Okay, so if you are accepted with Bodalgo, you're swimming with the sharks, and you're in for yeah, you could be in for a surprise when you realize, oh my God, this is really tough to compete with all those talents because they are so wonderful.
Don't let that be discouraging. Allow that to be your goal. This should be your goal, is to be good enough to be on something like Bodalgo. Why don't we close with maybe you can give us a message for all of our listeners and talent out there about from yourself but with Bodalgo, but also about UVOS and why you felt you maybe came aboard, and convince them to kind of watch the show with us and have some fun. Why don't we close with something?
All the people that are like entering and that are giving away the putting the in the editions in, well, best of luck of you. But for all you maybe you use the event to see if you want to start into a voiceover career. And the recommendation that I would give to you is, the first question you really have to ask yourself is, how can I become good? And this is really the first step. And you research where there are maybe good coaches and what kind of equipment and so on. And yeah, but take the event as a first jump into the scene and see what the judges say. And I can't wait to see all of this. And it will be a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Ultimately, the storyteller is the hero who is going to engage and inspire others. And I really believe that you've got something phenomenal here with Bodalgo. Investigate, Google it, be a part of it, and get on board with the international team that is thriving.